Good morning, everyone, and welcome for another round of Crypto Morning Coffee. And today we have some very interesting topics and news. We are going to talk about the Blackrock Bitcoin Spot ETF and why it is so bullish, although there is a controversy around it. We are going to talk about Binance US, how they have suddenly a deal with the SEC and why this is a good sign. And we are going to talk certainly about Hong Kong regulators pushing into crypto. And for sure, in the last part, we are going to talk about Veve, Ubisoft, and more Veve news. And if you are watching this after the live stream, then you will find all the timestamps in the video description, video text down below, but everything right after the intro. So, good morning, everyone. I have my coffee here, locked and loaded, ready to go. It's the Patient Hodler coming at you with another live stream. And guys, make sure that you perform your own research on all of these topics because I'm not a financial advisor. So please do your own research before you ape full degen into any of these investment opportunities that we are talking about. But we are here mainly to cover the news. Also, if you like this all, please smash the like button. And I want to thank quickly everyone that is already supporting me as a channel member, as a Patreon, for that support, and every one of you who is already subscribed. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing after watching, and if you are liking what you are watching. Smarty Pants is already here. Good morning, Smarty Pants. I hope you are doing fine. I hope you have a coffee in hand. Because today's episode is going to be really interesting here. So let's start right in by me sharing my screen. Because we have, let's say, a green push that came as a bounce back to the dump that we have covered before here on the channel. And we are going to look at this in a second. But we want to know why Bitcoin is suddenly green. And we want to know what is going on with this new opportunity of bringing billions and billions into the space. So this is one of the reasons, I would say. And that is BlackRock files for a Bitcoin ETF. And we are going to see in a second why this is such a big deal in comparison to all others, because BlackRock, let's say, has some very strong friends. But let's see here. So BlackRock's iShare Trust will use Coinbase custody as its custodian, according to a filing with the US Securities Exchange Commission. The US regulator has yet to approve any applications for spot Bitcoin ETFs. So we remember in last bull run, all the filings for spot Bitcoin ETFs have been declined. I think in Canada there is one, but in the US all of the filings have been declined. And we see here it would use Coinbase custody and so on. That is very bullish because that means also it's filed at the SEC. That means that the SEC would have to go against the wishes of BlackRock. Last year, BlackRock launched a spot Bitcoin private trust for institutional clients in the United States, and that was allowed as well. The move comes at a time when the global currency industry has been caught in the crosshairs of the US securities regulator on alleged violations of security laws. Interesting, because that is a hell of a timing, right? But we will see that the chances are really good for BlackRock having that one approved. Earlier this month, the regulator sued Coinbase and Binance. Now, BlackRock is siding here with Coinbase, basically using their services. The fact that BlackRock, a well-respected and established asset management company, has filed for Bitcoin ETF could be seen as a positive development in the quest for regulatory approval, said Joshua Shu, and it also shows resilience of the public's interest in crypto. I think so, and BlackRock is basic or mainly managing assets for those who have a ton of assets. So that their interest in crypto is the one that is going to be satisfied here. A spot Bitcoin ETF would track Bitcoin's underlying market price. Proponents say an ETF would give investors exposure to Bitcoin without directly buying it, which is true, but that is the investor side that is not in Bitcoin yet anyways. The SEC rejected Grayscale Investments application last year, that's the one we remember, to convert its flagship spot Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into an ETF. Grayscale sued the SEC, claiming that the regulator was acting arbitrarily in rejecting applications for spot Bitcoin ETFs when it had previously approved Bitcoin future ETFs. So Grayscale didn't get it. Let's see if BlackRock can get it. But the chances are very, very high. And here is the reason why. Because BlackRock's record of ETF approvals by the SEC is 571 to 1. There's only one ETF that has ever been declined for BlackRock. Because BlackRock is a big giant in the industry that apparently has strong friends within the SEC, because there's no way that you have this track record without having some, let's say, in certain decisions, someone favoring you. Now, the thing is here now that the timing also is probably not for nothing, right? So they have waited until the SEC makes a move. They have probably known that the SEC is going to make that move. And then, now that this move is solely against two big exchanges and against altcoins and is not including Bitcoin nor Ethereum, they are now basically saying that it's more or less clear by the SEC that they are not going after Bitcoin, so that Bitcoin is a commodity and therefore should not be a problem to have a spot ETF for a commodity, right? So that is what they are basically, or what their probable judgment is here. And by the way, guys, almost 10 people here in the chat already. Smash up the like button. Taffy Jones is here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Taffy Jones. What is going on, guys? How are you doing this morning? And how are you feeling about this or about the market? So, yeah, this track record I thought was interesting. If you want to read this whole Finbold article, you can read it later on your own. Now, there is a big one as well here, and that is the judge signs off on Binance SEC deal. So Binance and the SEC have been more or less forced into a deal, and I'm talking about Binance US, to move all US customer funds, wallet keys back onshore in lieu of restraining order. So a federal judge signed off on the temporary agreement between the US security and global crypto exchange Binance and its US affiliate to have Binance US take steps to ensure only local employees can access customer funds. Now, this is a big deal in my opinion, because before that probably no Binance employees could access these funds, and if local employees can access customer funds, the regulator and the Binance US branch, they are working together now while they have this SEC lawsuit. The parties announced a deal late Friday to ensure that only Binance US employees can access customer funds in short term, which Judge Amy Berman Jackson of the District Court for the District of Columbia signed earlier Saturday. The judge also ordered the parties to begin proposing timelines for the broader lawsuit. So the judge basically forces that Binance US has to be able to act and make sure that no officials from the Binance holding, the global exchange, have access to private keys for wallets or hardware wallets or root access to Binance US. So this is what the judge here proposes, is something to really protect customers, I think, because then there is at least some management going after that. Taffy Jones says, I'm numb to the markets now. Great news about BlackRock. Yeah, good morning, PH. Mr. K, good morning to you. Yeah, I think the market is, or the market has taught us in the last 1.5 years that we have to have a broader picture, right? We have to know only the big direction of that massive ship and not all the 4-hourly moves, right? We have to see how is it going. How am I today? I am. Oh, sorry about the notification here. I am very well. Thank you for asking. I have the crypto morning coffee. I have the coffee in hand. I get to know these live streams with you guys, so I am excited. I try to do as regular as possible, although sometimes daily schedule is getting in the way. But yeah, we have some good stuff here. Why is this popping up all the time? That is bad programming. Anyways, that is good. So BlackRock is good. BlackRock's track record is good, and Binance working into the direction where it's not a complete dead catastrophe is very good. So let's look at this. This is also interesting. It's regarding this, an opinion. Shown below is when gold launched, allowing easy, or the gold spot ETF basically, allowing easy access to gold is exposure for investors. When BlackRock's, who has 99% ETF approval, Bitcoin ETF launches, very similar structure to gold, expect similar price action as it unlocks access to Bitcoin exposure for the masses. So let's look at this quickly, because as you can see here, that is when it launched, and that is the massive run that happened afterwards with one bigger correction in it. But this was obviously over the next years, but it has launched somewhere in, what was that, 2005? And the run was after that, like until 2011. Although I disagree about correlating this only to when the spot ETF launched, because the gold price also rallied alongside with the Fed money printing, or the extensive money printing that was basically from 2008, somewhere here, 2008 until, or here's the big, maybe the big collapse which pumped the price, and then money printing. So I think that could also have to do a lot with this. Nameless says, hey Nameless, welcome to the stream. Hi, so SEC starting to back off Binance and altcoins. I don't think they are backing off, but I think that they are getting basically put into the boundaries by the judges, because obviously the SEC cannot. So first of all, the SEC on themselves, they cannot just create laws and rules. They can give guidance on regulation, but they cannot create and just rules out of nowhere. And I think that judges will more and more look into what the SEC is actually doing, yet that, or right now, that the public has such a look on what the SEC is doing all the time. So I think with the Ripple lawsuit and everything going on, the SEC is in a bad spot. Oh, buenos dias, Alberto. Tuning in from Spain, that is a rare appearance, right? But good to have you here. I hope you are all right. And Dr. Knut is also here. Moin. Moin to you. Greetings to you all. So yeah, with that said, or with it for the SEC, this is also interesting because we have more from Brad Garlinghouse, from the Ripple boss, Ripple CEO, posted a video on Twitter where he basically says that the SEC is acting in bad faith, which is a let's say an offense, plain and simple, he says. And it's about the Hinman documents, right? So the Hinman documents were unsealed on June 13th. We have covered it before, during, and after. And it's a part of the ongoing lawsuit between Ripple and SEC since almost 3 years. And he published a video discussing the lawsuit's timeline and expressing his frustrations with the agency. In June 17th, Garlinghouse said, the Hinman documents suggest that the SEC knowingly created confusion about the rules, and they used that confusion through enforcement. So basically, he's saying that that the SEC is not playing it clean. So he's then saying this definition of putting politics over people and the pursuit of power over sound policy. And then he's also saying that prior to the lawsuit being filed, he answered every single question the SEC ever had, and it was never suggested to him that XRP was a security. He believes that the SEC is looking to kill innovation and the cryptocurrency industry in the US, arguing that the Hinman speech isn't about any one token or any blockchain, but more so the overall stance that the SEC has towards the crypto industry. So this is about showing the extent to which the SEC has relentlessly enforced action against crypto players while professing fake open arms and calls to come in and register, all the while lying about their so-called guidance, which is what Coinbase experienced firsthand, right? Coinbase experienced that directly. Garlinghouse further explained that at best, these documents suggest that the SEC senior officials couldn't agree on the law and told Bill Hinman directly that he would confuse the public even more about the rules for crypto. So that is what was written directly in the Hinman emails, as we have seen. And this is the big contrast, right? Because in the US, there is confusion created. In the US, the SEC is going against innovation, against clear rules. The SEC doesn't want to establish clear rules and just sue everyone. And now let's look at Hong Kong, because we have seen that Hong Kong is positioning themselves into a new crypto innovation hub by establishing clear rules, allowing altcoins, allowing Bitcoin, allowing exchanges within the boundaries, within the clear rules, with application fees, application forms, and so on to operate. So that's the clear counterpart. And now we see HSBC and Standard Chartered pressed by Hong Kong regulator to take on crypto clients. So it's the complete opposite, right? The regulator in Hong Kong is saying, HSBC, why aren't you offering crypto? And so let's look at this quickly. Hong Kong's banking regulator is pressing lenders, including SHBC and Standard Chartered, to take on crypto exchanges as clients, even as US regulators crack down on the industry. At a meeting last month, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority questioned the UK-based lenders, Bank of China and the Bank of China, on why they were not accepting crypto exchanges as clients. So it's not directly that they want these lenders to offer the cryptocurrencies themselves, but host, basically give funds to exchanges so that exchanges can grow. Due diligence on potential customers should not create undue burden, particularly for those setting up an office in Hong Kong to look for the opportunities here. So they want exchanges, maybe like the ones that we already know, to set up right in Hong Kong, and they see already that what is happening in the US can drive the exchanges directly to Hong Kong. with the established regulation and looking way more crypto friendly. Banks do not have a ban on crypto clients, but they are reluctant to take on exchanges over fears they could be prosecuted if the platforms are used for money laundering or other illegal activity. The pressure underscores the difficulties being created by Hong Kong's push to establish itself as a global center for crypto industry, despite a series of high-profile and damaging collapses, including implosion of FTX. So that's why they are reluctant, why they are not yet coming forward. But with the regulator basically claiming themselves, hey, do it, let's go. There is a better position now within Hong Kong to do that, right? But they are still probably afraid of the backlash within China or within other basically countries. But if they want to make money on this, the time to move is now. Let's quickly look at the market. So the market in the last hour, in the last week, is green. The daily still recovering, as we can see here. Overall, Hex is getting smashed. Hex, I think, died. I don't know what happened, but Hex is completely destroyed. So as we can see here, there are some on the weekly. There are some big movers in the altcoin space. 30% TWT. Casper is moving. So overall, Uniswap is moving 10%, which is probably a good play for the long term. On the month, we are still down. So this is a relief rally. Pepe down 40%. Chili's down 40%. Hex down 75%. Biggest loser of the top 100s. I don't know how long Hex will stay in the top 100, to be honest. Algorand 30% down. So that is, flow is. So you can really say what's green is very strong. XRP is strong because of the Hinman documents. We can actually look at the top 200 where how Ecomi looks on the monthly right now. But I think Ecomi is very, very, where is it? We need to look for a smaller bubble. I think on the monthly it's almost non-existent. Honestly, I cannot see it. I cannot find it. There it is. Ecomi minus 7% on the month. Let's look on the yearly. So yearly, it would have been better to just buy Floki apparently. Not financial advice, and I'm not being serious. Ecomi down 46%. So you see, there are coins in the top 200 that are down worse, and this considers only 100 to 200. But you see also there are some that are really doing well. Now, let's look at this quickly. Bitcoin. This is from Stock Money Lizards. Bitcoin, possible pre-halving target 48K. So they are drawing in basically where the halving sits. If we do the bigger trend line of all the cycles, the Fibonacci retracements where we always had a pullback, we should be rallying throughout the next half of this year. We should be trickling down a little bit more and then rallying according to this. Looks reasonable to me because, if we are going sideways and coming a little bit more down during July and maybe a little bit of August and then start rallying and then coming down for the next half of the year, this could be possible. Here's the halving, so this would be April 2024 and then massive run. Could be happening like this. Could be also a little bit off. Then TechDev, also very interesting one, saying here, basically comparing the charts of the cycles and saying I think it's as ridiculous to expect a 10x on Bitcoin and a 100x on altcoins here as it was at the end of 2015. So this is a comparison of 2015. It looks very similar, all the metrics. TechDev has been, with some predictions, really spot on. So let's see how this can play out, but hopefully we see a rally like this. It correlates with what we have seen so far before from Stock Money Lizard. And then this one, is the last one of these that I want to show you, is the pretty mind-boggling stat showing just how scarce Bitcoin truly is. There is now a 500,000 more Bitcoin that hasn't moved in the last 10 years than there is on exchanges. So we see the supply last active on the last 10 years, and the exchange is like higher, the supply last active is higher than what's left over on all exchanges. Mr. Cases, how much OMI does a person need before you would consider them a whale? I would say a OMI whale, I would say above 50 million or so, maybe a 100 million, something like that. I would consider them a smaller whale. Some of the whales have a billion, but I would say over the longer term, and considering that potentially those are selling off, and after a while there might be no real 1 billion whales anymore, I'd say 100 million or so should be the mark where I'd say you are a OMI whale. So I'm a OMI plankton with my 2 million OMI. But yeah, maybe it depends a little bit on the Ecomi chart. I might add a little bit to my position, like another million or so, just for degen play. Let's look at this quickly because I think it's interesting. So just for the broader picture, we had, why is this not loading? It's always the same. It's not loading. For the broader picture, we had drawn in this mega cup and handle pattern for Bitcoin. I think it's still valid. I mean, if you were so this is the handle, right? I mean, if you are looking to draw this like this, then we would, exactly as we saw with the stock money lizard chart, we should close it. If we really round this out, we should close it in at least in the end of October, beginning of September. Then hovering a little bit here and break out. That would be exactly the point where stock money lizard says we are going to break out, right? See this here. So here's the breakout. More or less, this would be September. Now, why did this, besides all the news, this is the real reason why we have been rallying back, because in the same days the dollar fell a lot, and now we see that we have been spot on here. I can never draw when this is older than 30 minutes, I think. So now we see that we have been spot on this channel for a while now. So we see now this is really a lower high trajectory, and the fear of this being a double bottom seems to not be real. But we will leave it in because we are going to observe it, because what we don't want to see is a triple bottom or something like that and then rallying again. So what we really want to see is that we can lose this support line here, right, for the dollar value, so that we really can pump, really can heavily rally on this chart. So what we want to see is that the dollar goes like this. But I could imagine that we have something like this, and that would coincide with us just curving out here. No matter what, if we were to lose on the dollar, we could just pump through this, right? Total market cap is consolidating. Altcoins have suffered, got hammered. I think there is room to the downside still for altcoins in general. Let's look at Ecomi as well. And refresh it right away. It seems that we have retested the support already, as we said before. Out of this bear flag, we have fallen out, as we said on this channel before. Now, what I am looking for is, I want to see if this really can hold, because you know, when support is tested several times, as we have it here, there is a higher chance that it's very weak and we come down to test more lows. So if we reach this, if we reach or back test on this zone here, I might be buying a little bit more OMI. But for now, I'm still observing since this crypto morning coffee. One day, you guys will laugh at me when there is out of nowhere big news and this looks like this, and I'm like, I need to get in. But still, then I still have a better buy-in. Even if I have to buy in here or something like that, I still have a better buy-in than if I would have done this way back here, right? So I'm still observing, still looking. There's no volume coming in that indicates that a turnaround, in my opinion. Yeah, some of us have just smaller stacks of Ecomi, and I think that's absolutely fine. I mean, in general, it's more about what money can you put in and what you're so if you can, for example, if you can 10x $100, right, and $100 is what you can put into some whatever exchange investment. So for example, someone has $100, puts it in Bitcoin, makes it a 10x, it's still 10xing its money. It's just the starting position from where you're going and where you're starting to make money decisions, and then also taking profits, right? That which is important, not that you have mortgaging or remortgaging your house just to have a big OMI stack, gambling on the future of this token in the face of so much uncertainty. You bought another million this night. Congratulations. Do you have what's your stack? How much millions do you have? Are you already a small whale? So let's get with that. When we are already talking about Ecomi, let's get to this one here. David Yu from Veve says, amazing week of meetings and looking forward to execute building these partnerships. So Veve has come out with this one here and said, Veve Las Vegas, we had a blast meeting with leading brands and licensors at the Las Vegas Licensing Expo. It's exciting to see the ways companies are innovating in the digital collectible space, including our friends from Ubisoft. Wonder what's next. Justin says, I bought Thanos PSH. I have received the airdrop for crafting the normal gauntlet, but congratulations to your purchase. I think Thanos is ridiculously underpriced with, I think it was 90 something gems or so. I cannot understand that, because if people did not want to hold this airdrop anyways, they should have calculated that. I mean, they could have just sold all their stones, which was, I think, more than 500 gems, and then purchased a gauntlet for 150 and a Thanos for 100, and then they would end up only with 250 gems and 250 profit, right? But I was crafting. First of all, I needed to craft because I was excited about this event. Secondly, I wanted the Thanos airdrop for a chance also to be a low mint one, and I think it's always good for a content creator to be in this stuff, right? To have experienced that. Otherwise, you cannot comment on what is going on in the app. So there are some things, some drops or some things that I'll mainly go for to know what I'm talking about, right? Anyways. Mr. K says, it's so cheap right now and people don't see that the MCP and OUP is going to change Veve and OMI altogether. I got just over 10 million now. How about you? Yeah, I have 2 million, as I said before. I have 2 million straight, and I'm looking, because my buy-in price right now is 0029 overall, and I'm going to probably add another million somewhere around these levels. But I think that when Bitcoin rallies, OMI might be bleeding a little bit more. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Now let's talk a little bit about Ubisoft here. I think that is interesting because we had seen this before. So this is what we had already on the app, right? This was the first appearance, or this was when Ubisoft was first announced as a license with the rabbits. But it seems that there is more coming to this partnership, because otherwise I doubt that they would just line up with Ubisoft just for launching the rabbits. I think this was a quick win that they could make. Like, hey, give us a smaller license, give us the rabbits. We will make some money for you. And now look at this, they are at the Ubisoft booth. I think these expos, licensing stuff and so on, that's exactly what Veve is good as, where they should be. And I think there could be more coming. And I'm really looking forward to perks and gamification. As we can see here, Sonic confirmed as I think it's Vivara saying, just because they are in the background, it's not. It's not, guys. But I think this is a good thing. What do you think? What do you think is coming with Ubisoft next? I'm really looking for stuff like Rayman or so. But maybe there are so many games that Ubisoft has brought, and we can see also the rabbits are actually the rabbit that we have is here on the background, the samurai rabbit. That is on the app. Then also, Veve is teasing us again with this lab code with this little chemical here and an explosion, and people are theorizing what it is. So, for example, next Hulk drop is Bruce Banner, and we get a potion drop if we are holding him. That's a theory here. People are saying it could be the next comic. I don't think so, because usually these when they played with the emojis, it was always a collectible, in my opinion. So someone was saying it might be Rick and Morty. But there are many theories about what this is. So this time it doesn't seem that it's too much. It's not too clear, it seems. The last times they have teased, and it was relatively clear what it is. But some people were that looks good. That looks good for Thanos airdrop. Yeah, someone says another round of Powerpuff Girls, but we already have the Powerpuff Girls, right? So yeah, I kind of hope that it's something new like Rick and Morty, but I think the biggest probability is that this has something to do with the Hulk, right? So yeah, there is hopefully something happening we don't know, Eckerbone says, and I also hope that quite a bit, that there is something we don't know. Yeah, but let's look at what else we have here. So people are posing with their Miles Morales stuff. That is also pretty cool. There's some fan art here around the Luke Skywalker. I still have to add the Luke Skywalker to my collection here. And then also Star Wars. So Veve retweeting some stuff that I hadn't seen. We have the next Uncanny X-Men comic. I think it's also all the X-Mens I think are not so high in value, but as I said many times before, I really like the secret rares that are with this white background. This could turn into the white background secret rares could turn into a general collecting thing, that you want to have all of them or most of them. You cannot have all of them because the edition sizes are not enough. But yeah, also the airdrop has happened. I have received this one. I need to purchase the Warrior if I can one day. But that's basically it, guys. Acrebone says we are anxiously waiting for news that are affecting the coin. Yes, and I 100% agree. There is no news that are affecting the coin right now. And to be fair, to be honest, what we really have to to see is that we need that the OUP, the Master Collector Program, the integration is as good as it can get, and we need to see that OMI is capable of being listed on exchanges, and that are the two factors that really will drive the Ecomi token. And until then we either will move more sideways or we plunge more, right? Maybe we have already received seller exhaustion. We don't know yet. But for now, this looks like mountain ranges to me, right? Which is usually ending like this. Maybe there is a relief rally in between still. We have talked about this bear flag, but for now, we don't know if this is the bottom, although a very long wick could indicate at least that there is more buying going on in these ranges now than before. But we really do not see such high volume spikes. We have seen some here, but in general, if you shrink this together, we see the last big volume spike is here, which was selling volume. And you see what happened back then. So yeah, here we need something like this, big green volume, and then you'll have a turnaround. And for us to really have a turnaround, we need to at least take out this range here, coming above triple zeros again, going to double zeros. In my opinion, we just need to coil up and find new support to go up again. That's my take on Ecomi. Yeah, guys. I will be, for everyone who is already still here, I will be tonight at, I think it's 6 p.m. EST. I will be on Ecomi, around the Ecomiverse on Jordan Rees' channel. It will be a good talk. I think it's with Crypto Rain, and I think it's with Jordan obviously as a host, and I think I'm not sure if it's Veve Magic or not Veve Magic. I think it's Queen Veve or something, but we will see. So I will be on that one. Don't forget to tune into that one, guys. And 20 and beyond people here this morning, in the midst of the craziest bear market or outgoing of the bear market that we have seen, where interest is very low. I appreciate that. Smash up the like button as hard as you can. It's the only thing that helps this channel to go out there. And stay tuned for more videos on Ecomi Veve coming, more videos on VeChain coming, more live streams coming to be always up to date here. So guys, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night or afternoon, and see you in the next live.